I remember the night my grandmother told me this story. The moon was high, the fire crackled, and her voice dropped low, like the wind whispering through banana leaves. This tale, she said, is not just a story. It's a warning. Long ago, in a village not far from here, lived a woman named Nalongo. She was elegant, proud, and married to Kato, a man so handsome, even the spirits turned to look when he passed. They were the perfect couple. Every evening, Nalongo would light incense, and Kato would return from the fields with laughter in his voice. Their love was strong, and their nights were filled with warmth and passion. My grandmother said that sometimes the neighbors would hear Nalongo's laughter echoing through the walls, followed by Kato's deep voice calling her name. But one season, Nalongo hired a maid named Nambi. Nambi was quiet, too quiet. She moved like smoke, soft, smooth, and hard to catch. She wore a red cloth around her waist, never took it off, and always bathed under moonlight. The elders whispered that she came from the hills where witches danced with hyenas. At first, Nambi did her work well, but soon she began watching Nalongo and Kato, watching them laugh, watching them touch, watching them disappear into their huts at night. One evening, as Nalongo and Kato embraced under the stars, Nambi hid behind the mango tree. She crushed herbs in her palm, whispered words in a forgotten tongue, and buried a charm beneath their doorstep. The next morning, Kato was different. He forgot Nalongo's name. He stared at Nambi too long. He smiled at her like a man lost in a dream. Nalongo noticed. She saw the way Nambi's eyes glowed when Kato passed. She saw the red cloth tied tighter, the hips swaying more boldly, the tea tasting strange. Then came the night. Nalongo and Kato lay together, their bodies entwined like vines. But outside, Nambi stood in the shadows, her eyes burning, her fingers tracing symbols in the dirt. She whispered Kato's name, and he stared. Nalongo kissed him, but he turned away, murmuring Nambi's name in his sleep. Nalongo wept. She went to the village healer, who gave her a mirror blessed by the ancestors. "Place it under your bed," he said, "and you will see the truth." That night, Nalongo did as told, and what she saw chilled her blood. Nambi was in the room, though the door was locked. Her body shimmered like smoke. Her eyes were golden, her tongue forked like a snake's. She danced around Kato's sleeping form, chanting, seducing, claiming him. Nalongo screamed. Nambi vanished in a whirlwind of feathers and ash. But the damage was done. Kato never spoke again. He sat under the mango tree every day, staring into the forest, waiting for a woman who no longer walked the earth. And that, my grandmother said, is why you never let a stranger sweep your home after sunset. You might be sweeping away your own soul. My grandmother leaned in close, her eyes reflecting the flames. But child, she said, that wasn't the end. The spirits don't let go so easily. After Nambi vanished, Nalongo tried everything to bring Kato back. She bathed him in river water blessed by elders. She sang the songs they used to dance to. She even wore the red beads he once gifted her, hoping he'd remember. But Kato was gone, his body present, his soul wandering. One night, Nalongo lit candles around their hut. She wore her finest wrapper, the one with golden patterns that shimmered like firefly. She cooked his favorite meal, goat stew with groundnut sauce, and served it with palm wine. Kato sat silently, staring at her. But when she touched his hand, something flickered in his eyes. A memory, a spark. Nalongo leaned in, whispered his name, and kissed him, softly, like the first time under the mango tree. For a moment, he responded. His hands trembled. He pulled her close. That night, my grandmother said, Nalongo tried to reclaim her husband, not with charms, but with love. But outside, The wind howled, the candle flickered, and in the shadows, Nambi returned. She wasn't flesh anymore. She was mist. Her voice echoed through the walls, calling Kato. He rose dazed and walked toward the door. Nalongo grabbed him, begged him to stay, but Kato's eyes were golden now. Just like Nambi's, Nalongo ran to the healer again. This time, he gave her a calabash filled with river stones and a chant older than the hills. Place this where the spirits walk, he said, and speak the truth. That night, Nalongo waited. When Nambi's mist crept in, she smashed the calabash on the floor. The stones scattered, glowing like stars. She chanted the words, her voice shaking. Nambi screamed, a sound that made the trees bend and the birds fall silent. Her form twisted, cracked, and vanished into the earth. Kato collapsed. Nalongo held him, crying, chanting, praying. By dawn, he awoke, confused, weak but alive, and that, my grandmother said, is how Nalongo fought witchcraft, not with fear, but with fire from her heart. Thank you for joining together with I to the very end of this thrilling tale. Stay tuned and subscribe to the Africa Narrates YouTube family. Turn on the notification bell icon to keep posted whenever we drop something new.